geography now, Portugal, let's get to it. JTV crew, salute, what's good, yo? Today is that day. It has come after it felt more than 5 years, almost felt a decade, but it's actually been 4 years since we've been waiting for Portugal geography now. Now, for y'all that already know, for the ones that don't know, your boy is from the Madeira Islands, you know, a bit of seasoning there with the Cape Verdean, a little descent from the Hawaiian, lived in Venezuela, a bit of Senegalese, and a bit of the Iberian Peninsula, you know what I'm saying, Portuguese and the Spanish. So we be checking out another country of my background. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna be talking mostly about the Madeira Island side of things. Things I'm about to say, some are facts, some are things that I've learned. It might be right, it might be wrong, but we finna be checking out, you know, Paul, the Geography Now channel side of things and the information and research that he's done and feed us with more information. Now, before I get to it, I want to send all my love to my brothers and sisters out here from the Madeira Islands, you know what I'm saying, you know how it goes. Before I get into this now, what do I know of Portugal? Now, if I ain't mistaken, Portugal was one of the first empires, one of the oldest alliances being UK, you know what I'm saying, and Portugal. Now, what I've learned, kind of researched it up, you know, cause your boy learns everything, not in school, because I was whack at school, but everything doing my research and go thoroughly through it. I learned that, I don't know if this is true, but some of y'all will help me down below in the comment section. I don't know the names too, but apparently when Spain came over and took over the whole Iberian Peninsula, the king of Spain, if I'm mistaken, there were two brothers. One didn't get along with the other. Apparently the one of Spain was the good brother, the one of Portugal was the bad brother, which Portugal didn't exist at that time. It kind of split apart, as some of us do have family disputes and ish, and he told his other brother, I want a piece of land, took the side of Portugal and created Portugal. So the bad brother was Portugal. I don't know, it's what I learned, bro. Now, Portugal does have a lot of history. It was one of the first to abolish slavery. And another interesting fact I learned the other day was in 1095, the year, Portugal's flag looked like Finland's flag, which I kind of saw in some other videos that I did research on and saw on YouTube, which I really found that a bit strange. But hey, man, in 1830, as y'all can see on my left hand side, but on your side it would probably be the right, 1830, Portugal had another flag. This type of flag, I mean the colors, not the symbol in the middle, is currently used, probably the blue is a shade darker, but currently used by the Azores Islands, which is also part of Portugal. And then in 1910 is the flag we have now, the green and red. Portugal, I've never been to the mainland. I have, you know, obviously being from Madeira Islands, I always hit it up. One of my bucket lists is Azores Islands. Hey, yo, this is a long entrance, so make sure y'all got yourself a cup of coffee. You know how I do, man. Always prepared, blood. Like I said, I'm gonna be talking about the Madeiran side of things as we get into this video. Nowadays, I think Portugal's best friends probably be Spain, UK. That's just a guess. We're gonna get into it and see. Portugal has a population of 10 million. This is what I did see last year on the Portuguese TV, you know, on Google. Portugal does have two islands, the two islands being Azores Islands in the Atlantic Ocean, in the middle freaking Atlantic Ocean, literally 9 islands if I'm mistaken. Now Madeira Islands is also in the Atlantic Ocean, but bear this in mind, Madeira Islands is in the African template. Madeira Islands being closer to Africa than Portugal itself, the mainland. So basically Madeira Islands is 497 miles from Africa, 746 miles from Lisbon apparently, so it says I've just checked online. Madeira Islands is part of Portugal, as we obviously all know. Of course, y'all, the subscribers, the family gang that already know, I'm seeing me do other videos to the topic of Madeira Islands. Capital city, which is Funchal in the Madeira archipelago, Azores being San Miguel in their archipelago. The city in the capital Funchal, there is a small part which is independence from Portugal. It is not part of Portugal, it is its own country within. For y'all that don't know, the name is called Pontinha. Now, I have had a lot of people comment in the comment section before in my videos and say, Jay, I've checked up on Google and it only says 6 people currently living on there. Now, this is my answer to y'all. How many people, let's just give an example, in Portugal live in France? You still got your passport, you still got your nationality. It doesn't mean, car, you're not living there, You see where I'm going with this? It don't mean you're not still a national car, you living in another country. Now it does have coming up to 1,000 people, nationals. I am part of that. Pontinha is also a part of the emerging African states. Now the closest friends being like Madeira Islands, since I'll be doing, the Madeira Islands side of things. Azores and Madeira Islands are autonomous regions. We do have our own flags, as y'all can see right there. To me, I rep my island flag, and second to most, I then rep the Portuguese flag. Of course, if Portugal play, then I'll be repping Portugal. Madeira Islands do have national team when it doesn't come into like the soccer side. There is a national team for like the under 18s in soccer. There is a national for basketball. The wettest part in the whole of Portugal, I'm taking this the Azores. Every time I check the weather there, I always see it's hella rainy, but it is a beautiful place. Like I said, it is a place that's on my bucket list. I love Azores so much. Madeira Islands in the whole of Portugal is the most warmest. Like in the winters you have probably 22, 23. I've been in the island where in the winters it's been 27 degrees Celsius. Madeira Islands being the warmest, sometimes we get the weather from Morocco, the African side, and sometimes we get it from the Caribbean side. Madeira and the Azores Islands are slightly different to Portugal because we are in the Macronesia. Portugal mainland is not. Azores Islands and the other islands that are in the African template like Madeira, Canary Islands, and also Cape Verde on the coast off of Africa is in Macronesia. If y'all don't know, hopefully he will state it in this video. Talking about the Madeira side of things, the relations with, you know what I'm saying, like Azores back in the day, let's just say 7 years before that was a bit give and go, but after 7 years, and I'll explain to you the reason, is because we always have wildfires, and this went global. It went all over the gaff, you know what I'm saying? TV went into UK, USA, and all that ish, viral, baby. Yeah! And we didn't get no support. The government from the island was kind of like waiting to see what will happen. No one offered support for like a week or two, and the Azores Islands, out of everyone from mainland or anything like that, offered their help. There was like, you know what, you haven't got firefighters, they've been working day and night, some have died, y'all really need help. And the most beautiful breakthrough, the most best friendship from then on started to happen. Azores sent a private plane from the Azores Islands to the Madeira Islands with firefighters to combat the fire. A few days after, a few from the mainland Portugal then offered to help. From then on, the Azores and the Madeira Islands have become close brothers. Everyone from the Azores Islands are one love. Salute to y'all. It's all love, and I'm glad that we have a stronger bond than what we used to have. The Madeira Islands back in the day used to have an economic crisis. Most branched out to the Caribbean. My family branched out to like Hawaii, got the Cape Verdean mixed, and came back to the island. I know I've been talking hell a lot. I'ma stop it and let's get into Portugal. But without further ado, family crew, Portugal, where y'all at? Let's get straight into this.
So, some countries try to fight the ocean. Others are afraid of the ocean. Portugal practically wants to live in the ocean.
Hey, that's facts, bro. Oh my. Me, I love the ocean. Hot weather and the ocean, bruh. That's all me, man.
If they had gills, they'd sell their land and build an Atlantis. Welcome to the powerful little sailor of Europe.
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey everyone, I'm your host Barbs. This episode couldn't have come at a better time because I literally just got back from a trip to Portugal with my mom.
Swear to God!
I met tons of you guys, the Portuguese geography.
We're more quiet, more friendly, helpful. Yeah, man, for real.
Little side note.
Hey everybody, this is João. He is a native Portuguese person who'll be coming in and out of this episode explaining things about Portugal.
Big up João, big up João. How many Joãos out there?
Anyway, let's look at the globe now, shall we? Portugal is sometimes called the door to Europe. It's the start to the mainland. The Portuguese are ocean people. They need to be close to the sea.
Spam up the comment section, man. Where my Portuguese family gang at?
Without it. With that in mind, their country is pretty ideal for them, location-wise.
Portugal, the rectangle-shaped country, is located at the very end of the Iberian Peninsula, surrounded by Spain on all three sides, as well as two island regions in the Atlantic. They have the westernmost point of continental Europe, Cabo de Roca, and the westernmost point of Europe's domain, the island of Santa Cruz das Flores.
Portugal have a very large sea. Azores extending kinda almost going to like the USA part. How far is that? You know what I'm saying? Then you got Madeira Islands, which extends all the way down, almost touching the Canary Islands. A quick thing I'm gonna quickly touch on. Madeira Islands made up of 4 islands. Two islands are habitable. It used to be 3. The 4 islands names: Madeira, obviously the main archipelago. There's the Port Santo, is more flat. Madeira being more mountainy. The mountains are past clouds. There's some few of those in Azores, which, you know, they're beautiful lakes, Cidade. Oh, how many Azorians know that place, bro? Oh my gosh, how beautiful is Cidade. There's like lakes within a freaking mountain. How amazing is that, bro? This is why I want to hit it up. Something different. And the way they cook their food, bro, in volcanoes. They dip their food in volcanoes, close it up, take it out, and eat it like that. How many of y'all can actually say y'all have eaten food made from freaking cooked in freaking volcanoes? None of us, not even me. That's what I want to experience. Madeira we mostly do, you know what I'm saying, with wood. I was saying Madeira is 4 islands. Now the third island is the desert island, which we can see from the island here. If you live in the north side, like São Vicente, where my parents grew up, you can see Porto Santo from there. And if you go to the south side, which is like Caleta, Punta Sol type-ish side, it's pointing towards the Bermuda, Caribbean type side. Past the desert, this is what I'm talking about, the largest sea. One of the largest seas. It's basically the Salvage Islands. Now the Salvage Islands came along, if I'm not mistaken, Madeira had a time where Azores and the Madeira Islands were called Flama. They were meant to join up as a country, 2 islands, like Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau did at one stage, but that didn't happen. There was a group called Flama, you know what I'm saying, in 1974, 1975, around that time, wanted their own independence. It didn't go through, and Portugal as a gift bought the island of Salvage Islands, that's it, which is very, very close, literally so close to the Canary Islands, as a gift, I guess, for not leaving. I mean, I don't know the real facts behind that, but thank you very much, Portugal, we love y'all. Back onto topic, man. Did I just forget something I was gonna say, man? There's so much I have to say, bruh. Back in.
Note, Portugal has one of the oldest borders in Europe and one of the oldest in the world, very much thanks to this treaty signed between these 2 kings back in 1297. The Spanish and Portuguese have always usually had amicable relations in regards to their states. The only kind of dispute they have is over the town of Olivença. This is not an official dispute, but most Portuguese believe that it kind of probably should be theirs because of history or something. Look it up. For what it's worth, though, there's even a spot where you can zip line across this river from Portugal into Spain.
That's lit, bro. Listen, I know. That's crazy, man. And these things about Portugal, I never knew, man. It's so great to learn things about the mainland that I didn't even know. Amazing. Zip wire all the way to Spain?
And travel forward 1 hour in time because for some reason Portugal decided to follow the UTC +1 zone instead of +2 like Spain, meaning that...
Oh! Paul, hopefully you mentioned Azores Islands because the Azores Islands is slightly different timing than Portugal and the Madeira Islands.
Even though Galicia is on the same longitude, they are 1 hour ahead. Anyway, the country is divided in...
You did forget the Azores Islands, Paul. I'm so disappointed in you! What happened to the research, man? Azores, I've got your back, man. What are you talking about?
To 18 districts and 2 autonomous regions, the Azores and Madeira Islands. These 2 islands...
And if y'all watched reactions before, y'all know Paul got it wrong last time. He called the Madeira Islands Madeira. Bro, don't ever do that mistake ever again, bro.
Regions give a huge boost to Portugal's exclusive economic zone by over 1.7 million square kilometers.
I apologize to pause it again, but it's just giving me so much information. Freaking hell, this video gonna be like an hour long. In the list of like incoming like tourists and money that the whole, you know, talking about each individual part of Portugal, of, you know, money coming in from tourist income. Lisbon being the first, the capital, mainland of Portugal, and Madeira being the second out of the whole freaking country. Wow, how wild is that? Third, I'm not too sure what part. Fourth, not sure. Fifth is the Azores Islands. Azores Islands do produce a lot of like, Kai mostly brains up on that, but there's a lot of cows, a lot of milk, a lot of produce like so. Madeira Islands more produces a lot of agricultural. We on this side have, you know, like I said before, like I mentioned, the weather is perfect for every plant to be planted on this island. In certain parts of the island it's more colder. If you go to other parts it's mostly like dry, so you can plant like plantain. Madeira has a lot of agriculture going, more than mainland Portugal. So that's where most of the income has come from.
Zone by over 1.7 million square kilometers, making it the 3rd largest EEZ in the EU and the 20th in the world. The capital is Lisbon, and of course it holds the largest airport, Lisbon International, as well.
And this is another thing, bro. If you come to the Madeira Islands, if y'all are scared to fly, you might as well not even bother coming, bro. Madeira Islands is like top 10, top 7 of the most hardest airports to land in. So, bro, man, the winds over on this side sometimes for planes is crazy. The side winds, oh, bro. Sometimes I grip on my seat and I know, you know what I'm saying, flying many times into the island, I grip that seat knowing what's finna happen. If I know it's windy, I'm like, shit, we ain't gonna land. Sometimes the planes go back to their destinations and never come back, bro. That's a ticket lost. God damn. But I'm still promoting Madeira, man. I ain't gonna stop. I'm gonna still put up the Portugal and the Azores flag somewhere up here. You know what I'm saying? Love y'all. Back in.
As the largest shipping port, the Port of Lisbon. The second largest city is actually Sintra, followed by Vila Nova de Gaia. However, Porto actually holds the second busiest airport, and Faro in the south rounds out for third place for airports as well. Remember, even though these little uninhabited guys known as the Savage
Paul mentioned it. He mentioned it.
Islands are closer to the Canary Islands in Spain, they actually belong to Portugal and make up the southernmost part of Portugal's domain. One of which right here, Pontina, is actually a self-proclaimed Macronesia.
Yo! Yo! I'm so glad he actually mentioned this shit, bro. So y'all that been watching my videos all this time have said, Jay, why are you talking rubbish? You don't know what you're talking about. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. I'm gonna message the Prince straight after this video. He gonna be happy with this video, Paul. I know the Prince personally. I'm very happy to be a citizen of Pontinha. Wow, Paul, you are amazing, blood. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Now, for all those people that were digging and dissing me, watch this video, man. Learn something. Now you ain't gonna say, Jay, this and that. Hey, man, I'm not talking about the ones from Portugal. I'm talking about the ones that didn't know much and thought they knew more than me. Remember, I'm from the Madeira Islands. I know what I talk about, and I know people, and I know connections, bruh.
These little uninhabited guys known as the Savage Islands are closer to the Canary Islands of Spain. They actually belong to Portugal and make up the southernmost part of Portugal's domain. One of which right here, Pontina, is actually a self-proclaimed micronation purchased by some art teacher dude who bought it and then later claimed independence from Portugal in 2007. Keep in mind, these overseas regions, in addition to the Canary Islands and Cape Verde, are part of a larger oceanic region known as Macronesia.
Thank you, Paul. Madeira Island people and the people that always had my back and believed every information and fact I said to y'all, even though everyone was saying to me, Jay, you talking a whole heap of BS. Thank you. Everyone give me a round of applause. Everyone smash that like button. Everyone that supported and always had my back when all these disses were coming, slap back in your face. I need to hear that shit again, man.
These little uninhabited guys known as the Savage Islands are closer to the Canary Islands of Spain. They actually belong to Portugal and make up the southernmost part of Portugal's domain. One of which right here, Pontina, is actually a self-proclaimed micronation purchased by some art teacher dude who bought it and then later claimed independence from Portugal in 2007. Keep in mind, these overseas regions, in addition to the Canary Islands and Cape Verde, are part of a larger oceanic region known as Macronesia, not to be confused with Micronesia, which is...
And that's the mistake I always keep doing, man. And bear in mind, Portugal back in the day had a big ass colony, man. Think about Mozambique, Angola, Brazil. These are big ass countries. And remember, one time they wanted to link Mozambique and Angola through the middle. Wow, mad, you know what I'm saying?
halfway across the world.
Yeah, that micronation island thing, that's a weird one. Look it up. They kind of have all...
Thank you, Paul. And I'm glad everything I mentioned through these years, everyone dissing me, getting racial comments. Thank you, Paul. You defended your boy. I'm happy the world's actually seeing this for themselves. By the way, I haven't checked out this video before. This is my first time. You know, I do my reactions kind of live. Obviously not live to y'all, but fresh. First time. Dipping and diving. Back in.
Yeah, that micronation island thing, that's a weird one. Look it up. They kind of have all they need in that small space as long as they have the largest portion of the Atlantic coast on the Iberian Peninsula. This is kind of what allowed them to become the front runners in the age of discovery and European expedition years. Most of the first and famous explorers you've probably already heard of, Magellan and Vasco da Gama, they come from Portugal. Ahem. Yeah, you guys took the Arctic and Finland like hundreds of years earlier. For what it's worth though,
it's important to note that historically, not only were the Portuguese the first to kick off the age of exploration with the first discovery at the Azores and Madeira Islands.
Bear this in mind, the Madeira Islands was never called the Madeira Islands, we was called the Purple Islands. Just letting you know.
But they also had a vast empire at one point, expanding across 5 continents, as far as East Timor to Brazil and everything in between. The problem was, with the exception of Brazil, Angola, and Mozambique, the Portuguese really only kind of maintained numerous ports and coastal colonies that didn't encroach far inland with the connecting land masses. Their love of the ocean kind of ended up diminishing much of their land claims, and the majority of the ports were either fought over and lost, or sold to other colonial powers of the 18th and 19th centuries. Nonetheless, outside of the sovereign Portuguese-speaking countries today, you will see small remnants of Portuguese influence in places like China's special autonomous region of Macau, with its Portuguese-named streets, and the churches and culture of areas like Goa, as well as Daman and Diu in India.
Anyway, Okay, this segment is getting kind of long. Here are some places of interest that you guys, the Portuguese people, suggested we mention in this episode. They have 17 UNESCO heritage sites. Many of them are famous monasteries or churches.
Apologize, yo, my screenshot ain't capturing the whole, you know what I'm saying, screen. I do apologize. At the bottom on this part, it does say Sanctuary of Cum Jesus de Mont, and on the bottom right hand side over this side it says Geronimo at the bottom. Apologize, yo.
Churches or sanctuaries. Sintra has that cool national palace thing, and this grotto palace. Guimarães has that castle where Portugal kind of started. Ericeira is like the best surfing spot. Pretty much the entire city of Porto with its colorful neoclassical and baroque charm.
Hey, and Porto is one of the places that I really feel like I haven't seen much or don't know much, but it's one of the places I would love to work in, man.
They also have the coolest bookstore ever and the most beautiful McDonald's. Those boulder homes in Monsanto, or the castle of Óbidos. Évora has like the best historic sites and even a coolest bookstore ever and the most beautiful McDonald's. Those boulder homes.
Wow, we have one like this in São Vicente in Madeira Islands, bro. There's a house inside literally a rock like this that fell off the mountains. That's mad. How beautiful is that, though?
In Monsanto, or the castle of Óbidos. Évora has like the best historic sites and even a Portuguese Stonehenge. The Coa Valley rock art sites. The world's shortest international bridge with Spain. The cemetery of Anchors. The Monte Penedono Dolmen. Pretty much everything on Madeira Island with its beaches and...
Say swear to God! You know what I'm saying?
Botanical gardens, the museums. This one is even dedicated to Ronaldo. Lisbon has so many sites like the Belém Tower, the Jerónimos Monastery, and every year there is a huge pilgrimage to the town of Fátima, one of the holiest sites in Portugal. Yeah, and that's the thing about Portugal. Like, once someone finds a cool hidden natural spot, it usually gets exposed and invaded fast. And speaking of nature, that brings us to...
Before we do dip and dive and carry on to the next part, man, some of y'all know that Cristiano Ronaldo is from the Madeira Islands, you know what I'm saying, having ancestry from Cape Verde. But he's still a son of the Madeira Islands. He's the legend of the island. He put Madeira Islands on the map. Since Cristiano Ronaldo, this island has started to flourish and become viral. Best island in Europe, best island in the world, a few years consistent now. Now we've just recently won best golf courses in the whole world, beating Australia, Dubai, bro. Ronaldo did actually do some madness for this island. And there is some more famous people coming out of Madeira Islands. There's my homie like Ivo Vieira that is a coach currently for Vitória Guimarães. There's homie like Leonardo Jardim, another brilliant coach that coaches currently for Monaco. We have some talented, you know what I'm saying, people putting their island on the map for this place, man. For real, for real. Talented, and I'm glad to see the talent outgrown in this world, cause we never used to see this back in the day. I'm proud of my island. Back in.
Usually gets exposed and invaded fast. And speaking of nature, that brings us to... Now, as mentioned, Portugal is an ocean-loving country that loves the sea and water. Nonetheless, the actual people do need to kind of live on land and like grow food on it and stuff. So, yeah, this is how you break it down.
Portugal's land makeup, of course, is made up of the two main parts that fall under Portuguese sovereignty, the continental Portuguese landmass on the Iberian Peninsula, and the two island regions of the Azores and the Madeira Islands. The continental part of Portugal is located on the Eurasian plate, close to the convergence of the African plate. Geologists speculate that there could be a newly emerging rift which could explain some of the seismic activity, such as the Great Lisbon earthquake of 1755 that nearly destroyed the entire city on All Saints' Day. Look it up. Anyway, the northern parts are...
Yeah, that was like one of the most craziest island in school on the Richter scale, bro.
Generally more mountainous and hilly, with two main mountain chains, the northern Meseta Mountains and the Serra da Estrela, which has Torre, the tallest point on the mainland. However, if we're talking about the tallest point in the entire country, that actually belongs to Mount Pico on Azores Island. Back to the mainland, though, the country is shaped by three main rivers, the Douro in the north, the longest river of the country, the Tagus, or Taj, and the Guadiana in the south, which feeds into the largest lake of the country, Lake Alqueva, which is actually a reservoir created by the Alqueva Dam. The south of the country, known as the southern Meseta, is generally flatter and lush with the Sado Basin fed by the Sado River. Skipping over to the island regions, the Azores and Madeira Islands are volcanic archipelagos, generally lush and green, and mild to warm.
That's exactly what I was about to say about my Azorian brothers and sisters out there. Very lush, very green, very different. Some look like Africa, some parts look like Europe. It is something you never, probably might not see in the mainland. Hit it up. You'll be speechless and you'll be lost for words. You may even gasp, be like, wow. For real, bro. The air is humid. It's beautiful weather at most times. Oh man.
Year-round, Madeira actually has a UNESCO nature zone, the Loura Silva, or Laurel Forest of the north side. For the Azores, they are...
Where my people from Sunset? Where my people from Mexique, Santa Cruz, Funchal? Hey, our airport is actually now called Cristiano Ronaldo Airport for y'all that don't know now. We switched it up, man. Legend.
Kind of precariously positioned right at the triple junction of three tectonic plates, and the westernmost islands, Corvo and Flores, are actually located in the North American.
And those are actually the islands that I want to hit up more. And I always used to say the same thing. More onto the North American plate. And no one believes me, bro. How wild is this, bro? God bless.
Plate. They are beautiful green islands that actually kind of resemble the Irish countryside with farm plots dotted everywhere. This island chain is also the only part of Europe, if you don't consider the Caucasus part of Europe, where tea can be cultivated naturally in its environment.
Whew, that was pretty compact in detail. And we didn't get to talk about all the cool stuff like the cave beach of Benadil, or this tidal pool, or that place where the largest wave ever was surfed by that dude.
Hey, that was mad. I saw that. I think it was a Brazilian dude in I don't know where the hell that was, but I saw that was wild, man. That was wild, bruh. Hey, I saw the last clip. I think that was Portuguese, the Madeira, man. So, hey, the north side of Madeira is very green, very mountainy. You get a Hawaii type feel if you've been to Hawaii. The other rest of the parts are slightly different. Some are more like Africa type look. Some are more like maybe it's like Portugal mainland type look. It's very diverse, man. Azores sometimes give me that feeling of like a Canada, USA type feel, the way it's laid out and type shit.
Oh, that was Portugal?
Yes, it was.
For real.
Look it up. In the meantime,
was
you know
amazing,
the deal.
man.
I take my triple shot of espresso break, which means Noah comes in to fill in for the rest of this segment.
Did somebody say Keith?
No, I believe he said Noah. For one, they are masters of making anything out of trees, as over a third of the country is forested mostly with oaks, pines, and eucalyptus. Such Portuguese companies like the Navigator Company are world-renowned for paper products. And Amorium is the world's largest cork producer, in Portugal being #1 in cork production in general. You will see tons of stuff around Portugal made of cork. Cork purses, cork shoes, cork notebooks, cork everything. And they love their wine, with port, rosé, green, and Madeira wines being some of the...
We've been promoted up in this, man, bro. We up and level up in this North Madeira Islands, bro. Hey, I'm not really a wine lover. I know you're gonna say, Jay, you from the Madeira Islands and you don't like wine? What the hell is going on with you, boy? You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, I love my coffee. Black coffee all day. Whiskey, too. Lean juice. Kitties, yeah.
most popular types.
Okay.
Portugal is home to many animal species as well. In the continental side, you will find mammals like wild pigs, wild goats, hares, foxes. The unofficial national
Y'all have foxes? That's crazy. We have donkeys on this side.
animal, though, or at least a common national symbol, would technically be the legendary mythical Barcelos rooster. They're Europe's top seafood
What's
consumer.
that piri chicken? Hey, that's that. If y'all been to the UK, that's that Nando's sign y'all see. Hey, hit up Nando's if you hit up the UK, man. So Portuguese food up in that bit. And there was something to do with it, like the Portuguese and India and the spice. Bro, I love curry and I love spice. So hopefully he's finna be mentioning something like that, bro.
Per capita and usually in the top 4 worldwide. And of course brings us to the final segment, food. Some top notable dishes you guys, the Portuguese geography suggests we mentioned include things like the most iconic national soup, caldo verde. These two sandwiches are probably the most popular ones. Pastéis de nata. And finally with seafood, they have everything from cuttlefish, crabs, shrimp, spiny lobster, barnacles, mackerel, lamprey, sea bass, clams.
You know, I mean, our traditions in islands are slightly different to others. Like here, speaking from the Madeira Islands, a lot of people love like barbecues, like, you know what I'm saying? What's the vimy or whatever, I forgot what you call it. There's a plant where you take off, you can put it on meat as well, like the leaves. It gives it a juicy loidum. If y'all know what that is, y'all know what that is. I don't know the translation into English, but there's a stick, you take off the leaves, you put it in, you know what I'm saying? The cut out pork, yeah, that's it. Put it in the barbecue. The big fat salt, not the granited thin layer salt. No, man, you need some flavor. Spice it up, you know what I'm saying? Yo, a lot of people over here love like bacalhau. Love a lot of like carne vinhos. That is my favorite from. Oh my lord, I love it every time I come to the island, bro. I also do love empanadas, you know what I'm saying? Growing up in the Venezuela side, I do like empanadas, arepas, churros, oh my god, and pastel de nata from Portugal. Oh my lord, bro, the food just, right? You go get fat, I'm telling you. Oh, future missus, if you're watching this video, we gonna get fat. I always exercise, bro. I'm never that. I'm always staying fit.
Oysters,
Been there,
periwinkles,
done that.
scallops,
Never again.
sardines.
Dude, the Portuguese make the best octopus I ever had in my life.
Fun fact, the
Oh, that's true, bro. Octopus. Blood. My nan does she passed away now, but she does like the best octopus food. Oh my freaking day. The way she used to prepare it with rice. Portugal, man. Huh.
Portuguese actually introduced samosas to India. Tempura.
Say swear to God! I love samosas. What? I'm getting excited.
Fun fact, the Portuguese actually introduced samosas.
I thought the Indians created it. What? I love samosas. This is, bro. I eat samosas almost every single freaking day. Portugal, wow. Bro, check this out though.
Samosas to India, tempura to Japan, and England probably wouldn't have tea if the Portuguese hadn't traded with China. And of course,
Portugal, swear to God, hey. Big up to the Portuguese, man. Y'all created and made some amazing shit. No wonder why I love all this here shit. It came from my Portuguese ancestry. What? All this time, my life has been a lie. Oh, I'm more in touch to my Portuguese side than I've ever thought. Hey, what? I'm so gassed. I'm gassed, you know? But this is the most in-depth reaction I've ever done in my freaking life history than YouTube. Whew.
the most popular dish of Portugal, often seen as the national dish, bacalhau, which is salted cod, deliberately preserved and soaked before cooking. Interestingly enough, cod isn't even commonly caught off their coast, so they have to resort to importing it usually from the North Sea. Their national dish isn't even really found naturally in their own country. But what does occur naturally in Portugal are the Portuguese people. Let's meet them.
Well, obviously, boy. I'm dead.
Thank you, Noah. Keith again. Alright, take care of this. Oh my god. Oh!
You're welcome.
Now, I asked João to describe the Portuguese, and here are some things he said.
Hey, vamos lá, João, vamos lá. By the way, like I think I did mention this earlier on, the Portuguese from the Madeira Islands and the Portuguese from mainland is slightly different. Like, there's a few words that are different, and the way we say things and like certain tools are said very differently to the Portuguese. We do understand each other, but there is a slight few differences in the way we talk. Of course, accents, that goes the same as Azores. The Azores Islands probably having a stronger accent. To me, Azores Island kind of sounds like a Portuguese, a French talking Portuguese. Don't shoot your boy, it's just what I hear from my ears, you know what I'm saying? I have love and respect for y'all, for real, I do, honestly. But their Portuguese sounds more like the Portuguese from mainland, the way they talk, their vocab. But the Madeira Islands, like I said, is just a few words. They like smilas, y'all say batatas, and batata doce, we say batata. See, so certain things are just all over the place, man.
It's like a resourcefulness of ways. So if you give us like a corkscrew and a frisbee, we'll give you a scooter. Another one is estar com os azeites.
What the hell did João just say? João, ainda culpa de essa.
You're welcome.
Now, I asked João to describe the Portuguese, and here are some things he said.
Desenrascanço. It's like a resourcefulness of ways. So if you give
I've never heard of that word, on God.
us like a corkscrew and a frisbee, we'll give you a scooter. Another one is estar com os azeites.
João, não estás mentindo para mim, não?
When someone is really grumpy or in a real bad mood.
To sum it up, that's the ideal Portuguese way. In any case,
The country has about 10.5 million people, and they are one of the top aging populations in the world and has the highest emigration rate in the EU.
Wow. For real, like what he just said is true. Like over here in Madeira Islands, there's no disrespect, there's hella lot of old people. Most young people fly out to Europe and, you know what I'm saying, to find jobs, you know what I'm saying, progress in life. God, there's not much opportunity. I don't know about Portugal mainland, but Madeira Islands is like, jobs is so hard, man. I wish I was living here more permanently, but you know what I'm saying, your boy has to jump all over and be on the ground and do his shit, you know.
Exact numbers are not always completely reliable, but many sources on average report that somewhere around 90 to 95% of the population identifies as Portuguese. But that term is very broad, as there are many different types of Portuguese people that look totally different from the others. Some of them are blonde hair and blue-eyed, and some are tan and olive and brunette. Either way, Portuguese. The remainder of the 5 to 10% of the
And I'm proud of that.
population comes from all over the world, mostly Europe and former colonial
Africa.
states like Brazil, Angola, and Mozambique, and even
Cape Verde, Forgot about Cape Verde. How dare you disrespect my island like that?
Asian minority as well, mostly Macau Chinese, and
Goa.
India from Goa and Daman DU.
They use the euro as their currency, they use the type C and F plug outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. Now, of course, in Portugal, the official language is Portuguese, a Latin-based Romance language.
You know, yeah, big up. You know what I'm saying? That's for real. I feel we're like second or third in the world of romantic language. Shout out. And you know what's weird? Portuguese understand the Spanish. Italians don't really understand the Portuguese, but it's weird how the Portuguese understand slightly of the Italian and slightly more of the Spanish. Yeah, it's weird, man.
A Latin-based Romance language. It's actually related to the Galician language in North Spain, and usually the two can pretty much understand each other. And
I definitely understand the Galicia, man. So why wasn't Galicia still part of Portugal? I mean, I don't know.
weirdly enough, Galicians and North Portuguese people have Celtic roots.
Wow, that's wild. I didn't know. I didn't know that. I know when I done my DNA test, all I know is my ancestry was a mix of Senegal, Portuguese, Spanish, Hawaii, Cape Verde, Madeira Islands. You know what I'm saying? Portugal, of course. But yeah, that's how it broken down. And Sardinia and Italy. Boom! What a mad mix I am. Beautiful and God blessed. Amen.
More about that in the Spain episode. But anyway, Portugal also technically has a second regionally official language, Mirandese, which is only spoken by about 15,000 people in 2 municipalities of the northeast region. But otherwise, okay, just pick.
I heard of that. So what's Mirandese like? Is it more like a Spanish or is it totally something different? If hopefully Paul would just give us someone to describe, or I have to go on Google and do or YouTube to do a little research.
Being straight up, Portuguese is the most difficult Latin language for me personally. But after spending some time in Portugal, I figured out a shortcut if you want to learn how to speak Portuguese. Here's how you do it. Step 1, be Russian. Step 2, get drunk. Step 3, try to speak Spanish. Meu nome é Paulo, eu gosto de pastiche de melão.
I ain't gonna lie. You Paul. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna cap, Paul. That was a good one. Ah, shit. He broke it.
Calm down. This was a joke. Geography Now does not endorse underage drinking.
No, but Paul, you kind of got it though.
Or alcoholism. And also, do not confuse the Portuguese with the Spanish. They hate that. Actually, when I met João,
Really? I mean, I don't really care. You know, honestly, I don't care. If you say, "Oh, you sound like you're speaking Spanish," I'd be like, "No, it's Portuguese," but it kind of sounds the same. Why would you be upset at that? They're all like our brothers type-ish. Come on now.
had this conversation with him. Hey, João.
Yes?
When I go to Portugal, would it be okay if I spoke some Spanish, just in case if I had a complete communication problem?
Yeah, no, don't. Just don't. Trust me, you're better off just using English.
Swing it.
You do know that the Portuguese were once Spanish. I mean, why not? I mean, in Madeira Islands, we have hella load of Venezuelans. They speak Spanish, but they mostly just try to speak the Portuguese or the English. But why do people do? I mean, Portugal, like I said, mainland is very different to the island, bro. So I don't know what's going on there.
Wait, the Portuguese, as mentioned, have a lot of ocean history and Catholic
Give me the comment
roots.
section.
About 81% of the country identifying to varying degrees of devotion as Roman Catholic. The Portuguese aren't too quick to note that they did kind of start the Atlantic slave trade, although keep in mind that East African slave trade was actually started centuries prior by Arabs in the Indian Ocean. Moving on! Portuguese culture comes in many fascinating, vibrant forms of tradition and custom, and with that, here's Random Hannah to explain.
Portugal today is a
I thought I was about to watch Looney Tunes with that kind of entrance of Mom.
very distinct nation, but if you dig close, you can see the layers of influence from groups like Phoenician, the Celtic, Germanic, Visigoth, Vikings, Sephardic, Jewish, and Moorish people. Yeah, even Vikings.
And don't you forget it.
Of course.
Hey, another shout out to another famous person, Sean Paul. Sorry, that just came into my head thinking about Jamaica just for a split second. Yo.
Of course, as intrepid maritime folk, the Portuguese were the first to invent galleon ships that launched off the age of discovery for Europe, post-Viking era. With that, they also created the first forms of Western-style nautical cartography and navigation. It would later be taught and used across the continent. One guy even tried to pioneer one of the first airship designs. Although Portugal may not be well known for their painters, sculptures or graphic arts. I mean, this dude went crazy and burned every single one of his paintings except one. They definitely have a tradition of three-dimensional expression that dates back centuries. Distinct Portugal styles include things like Madeira architecture of the 16th century, and even today, people like Bordalo II continue the tradition of three-dimensional art. Fun fact, you can probably guess a home is Portuguese if the exterior walls have tiles on them, and often blue pattern tiles. They have their own unique Portuguese sport, where you have to...
Even on the floors, they have different pattern shit. I don't know about mainland Portugal, but over here, I'm guessing it's the same, man. You got those weird patterns on the floor. It's not like normal tarmac. It's different, man. It's like got that what you just saw, like them tiles, but on the floor while you walk.
To knock off a pen with metal discs and varying weights and sizes. Nonetheless, no shocker, soccer or football is the most popular sport, with their oldest club dating back to 1893 in Porto. Their national team has consistently ranked high in FIFA standings. We are
champions of Europe and the first champions of the UEFA Nations Cup, you know.
all know Ronaldo is the most mainstream, noteworthy face of Portuguese football today. I mean, the guy has multiple statues of himself. The legendary Eusebio is considered one of the greatest football icons of all time and the symbol of the nation's sport. Festivals, of course, adorn the entire nation from north.
I know, yo, Benfiquistas be going crazy. Bop, 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 yo. Hey, hit me down below what team you support. I'm a Nacional de Madeira fan, you know what I'm saying? Don't shoot your boy. I know they're doing trash right now, but they were good, man. Nacional de Madeira have created some crazy ass players, man. Some of your big teams have been taking them away and throwing them out and creating them to be the best players that they are now, man. I do love Benfica too, man. Oh no, I'm gonna get dislikes now for that, right? I know there's so many Portistas and Sportingistas. Club sport, we're all one nation, Portugal.
Many rooted in Catholic tradition. June is a huge month where the festival of the three saints take place all over the country, honoring Saint Anthony, John, and Peter, where there's a lot of wine and sardines with fireworks. There's also many unique regional festivals like the Festa de Coco, in which they do fun dragon slaying performances. There's the Lazarine Carnival, one of the only places where Celtic rituals can be seen. Anyway,
bro, what? I've never seen that before. But hey, the festivals over on this side, they're lit. Like she was saying, party music, loud-ass carnival type speakers, man, fireworks, beautiful vibes. Safe place. I think it's one of the safest in the whole of Europe, man. Bless him.
The festivities are usually filled with music, which I guess means we're moving on to Keith's segment.
Alright,
Sorry, I said pig, you have no respect.
Is Gregorian chants in the medieval ages evolving into the classical era and eventually winning Eurovision. Portugal has had lots of musical accolades. And there's a certain word that kind of describes the overall feeling of Portugueseness when it comes to music. Saudade. Translates to something like a sense of melancholy and longing, as if something were missing. This type of mindset is one of the key elements that inspired the most famous of all Portuguese musical genres, fado. It's even listed as a UNESCO heritage trait. The most recognizable name with fado being Amália Rodrigues. Listen to it and see what you think. Portuguese have their own version of guitars, drums, accordions, even bagpipes. The ukulele from Hawaii was actually introduced from the Portuguese migrants, mostly from the Azores and Madeira Islands, where my ancestors are actually from.
That's where my ancestors from too, bro. Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Fun fact. Today, the Portuguese music scene has everything from mainstream hip-hop, rock, pop, metal, Moonspell being one of the more popular metal bands from Portugal. One time I saw Moonspell at, I think it was Ozfest. I don't remember. Moonspell is awesome.
Yeah, and thank you, Keith. All right, and with that, we gotta move on to the incredibly condensed history section. Proto-Iberian cultures, Indo-European migrations, Atlantic Bronze Age, Lisbon founded, Phoenicians, Proto-Celts, Rome comes in, Christianity, persecution of Christians, Visigoths, Vandals, Moors, Muslim years, Vikings come in briefly from the north parts, fighting, blah, 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 to get their first king after independence from Leon, uninhabited Madeira and Azores Islands discovered, Age of Discovery kicks up.
So they say. I don't know, bro. I don't believe it was uninhabited, man. There's a lot of, in the Azores, in the Azorian TV, I was watching a documentary that they're actually discovering fossils of people that used to live there before. And I've already said it once before in 2-3 videos that I've done of Madeira Islands, Geography Now type-ish. Madeira Islands was called Purple Islands. It got burnt down. They burnt the whole island down and then came back once it was burnt down. They said it took years to burn down, which I don't believe. Bro, why would you burn something and let it years to settle down and then come back? It just don't make sense. Ish like that.
Atlantic slave trade, colonies established, inquisitions, Great Earthquake of 1755, Napoleon years, first constitution, last
Paul, man, please fix your audio.
monarch deposed, Republic, World War I, joins Allied forces, World War II, gets messy, Salazar begins his reign, colony wars in Africa, colonies gain independence, but Timor is still on hold, new
I swear, Portugal didn't take part in World War II.
Constitution, joins EU, World's Fair Expo, releases Macau, releases East Timor, hipster shops and trendy yet pretentious warehouse district cafes open up, and here we are today. We asked you guys for a list of some of the top notable people from Portugal or of Portuguese descent, and they include people like Prince Henry the Navigator, even though he never really did any exploring himself, Bartolomeu Dias, Vasco da Gama, Ferdinand Magellan, these athletes, these
Hey, Jose Mourinho, Luis Figo, Abel Xavier, oh my god, the soccer world was nuts. These nuts, you know what I'm saying, bro? We had the most, and we still do, have the most talented players, man. I don't know how we didn't win anything prior.
Popes, Nobel Prize winner in medicine, Egas Moniz, the greatest writers, Luis de Camões, Fernando Pessoa, and Jose Saramago, Daniela Rua, Carmen Miranda, Maria João Pires, Sara Sampaio, Paula Rego.
Sis, man, who's her, blood? Oh, who's she? Oh, who, what?
Pires, Sara Sampaio.
Who is she? I mean, hello. Woo! Man, you chicas in Portugal, so beautiful, man. Goddamn, Saraya Sampaio. I mean, shit. Look at her beautiful eyes and her lips, and woo, she fine.
Paula Rego,
Hello.
and some American and Canadian celebrities that have Portuguese descent include Nelly Furtado, Chuck
Hey.
Mendes, one of my
Hey.
favorite animators, J.G. Quintel, even Tom Hanks, and this guy,
Tom Hanks? I said, Tom Hanks? Say, swear that, bro. Man, Portugal, y'all really surprising me, man. This is the most I've ever learned from Portugal, bro. Wow.
guess, you got Portuguese, right?
Yeah, totally, man. Great grandfather was actually born. He was born in the Madeira Islands.
Yo, lift it up. We got another talented guy coming up in this bit. Yo.
Well, as you can see by now, with their bold, exploring roots, Portugal has definitely left its mark on the world. And with that, we move on to see how the mark has impacted their relationships to others around the world. In
Spain and UK, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Portugal is kind of like the smallest nation that left the biggest legacy. Over 30 times more people than the population of Portugal across the world speak Portuguese than in Portugal.
For one, they have the longest official alliance between two countries on Earth with the UK. Forged in 1373, they have been working alongside the British for a long time and have developed numerous bilateral policies and trade deals. Long story short, the
I'm gonna wait to see what happens after Brexit. That'll be interesting.
Portuguese introduced tea to the British, and the British helped them get cod. For France, Portugal is kind of like the lean Latin boy next door who keeps trying to flirt with France, even though she's kind of dating Germany. There are more Portuguese people living abroad in France than any other nation at about 2 million. The Portuguese love the French. They enjoy the laissez-faire culture and charm and have integrated very well into French society. The Portuguese were the first Europeans to have encountered the Japanese, and much of the historical interaction reverberates to this day culturally. I mean, they founded the port city of Nagasaki, and even the word arigato is derived from the Portuguese word obrigado. Even when Japan was isolated, they traded for centuries, only with the Portuguese. Even though things got messy in the 60s and 70s, they still have close ties to their former colonies, especially Brazil, Angola, and to some extent Mozambique. Many of these people have recently moved in on separate migration waves, and today you can see many of them in major cities like Lisbon and Porto.
My guy still forgot Cape Verde, bro. What's going on with my camera? My guy still forgot about Cape Verde. Oh, man.
Millions of dollars are traded with Angola annually, and Portugal even canceled Mozambique's remaining debts from independence to 2005 at nearly $400 million. Brazil is their biggest legacy. It's like the sun, they fed steroids and became a massive giant bodybuilder. Today, the Brazilian dialect of Portuguese is more widely taught and distributed in media than actual Portuguese, and even after independence, the two have shared a privileged family bond that will always have high favor towards the other. For what it's worth, though, when it comes to their best friend, most Portuguese might begrudge begrudgingly hate to admit it, but they kind of, at the end of the day,
Spanish?
will always walk side by side with their oldest friend, Spain. Portugal was actually the first nation that fully emerged out of the Iberian Peninsula
We really do love you, Spain.
back when Spain was a bunch of disjointed kingdoms. Since then, they've been rivals and adversaries. During colonial years, they competed to see who could take over the Americas better. They've had centuries of conflict and treaties, alliances, unions, arguments, but in the end,
True.
they just have that Iberian culture and Latin root that ties them in so closely as brothers.
In conclusion,
We say that we like to keep things moderate and simple, but our history is anything but moderate and simple. Our love of water kind of spilled over into a global empire phenomenon that even us probably didn't see coming. Today the Portuguese legacy lives on.
stay tuned.
João, és pouco complicado.
Qatar is
Qatar next? What happened to Puerto Rico, bro? Has he already done Puerto Rico? What happened to... Oh man, that's tough. It was amazing learning more about roots of Portugal, man. So beautiful. Things that I didn't know, like zip wires and all this ish. Man, and food that I thought was from somewhere else, another country, like example India. And everything's like all come from Portugal. How amazing is that? Actually learning ish like this was magnificent. Paul, I want to say a big thank you for actually providing the facts of the Madeira Islands in a tight way about the whole independence, cause I've been having so much disputes and hates and, you know what I'm saying, of people that don't know the truth. Not even people from the Madeira Islands know the truth. Obviously I know, cause I know, you know, I've got the connections there for people and it's like that. But I'm so proud that you've actually admitted and put, you know, you're not sugarcoating it. Like your boy right here, I don't sugarcoat. We say it as it is, you know what I'm saying, the facts and the truth. And I'm very happy that you've done exactly that. You've done a brilliant job on this. I want to say a more, you know, if you do watch this reaction, it's hella long, I doubt it, but more long life and a success to you and your channel as it is growing. It was a pleasure checking this out. I really did love and enjoy watching this. Probably the longest reaction video I've ever done in my freaking life. And you also helped me to push out Madeira and promote Madeira Islands, the Azores Islands, just to get so much disrespect from of people that didn't know what I was talking about and thought they knew more than me. When I was doing all my research, having so many people disrespect me in a certain type way, and I'm so happy of the million subscribers, the millions are going into 2 million subscribers that you have, and you're pushing it out there. The whole world now will be watching this, and as a Madeiran, and with all these other spices and mixes, Hawaiian, Cape Verde and all that, I'm proud as a Portuguese. I used to get racial abuse, disrespected, violated for apparently saying not the truth of what is the truth, and I'm proud that he's actually said it himself, done his research, and now millions out there will watch what I used to say months ago in my videos no one believed, and he has officially put the certified stamp on this mofo. I was the original, remember, on YouTube that used to say this way back. Thank you for the one that kept it loyal and always had my back, knowing that I was saying was the truth. Family crew from Portugal, family crew from the Azores Islands, my brothers, family crew from the Madeira Islands, you know how it goes, salute, yeah.